Welcome to everyone to our deep dive on packaging and filling machine operators
Yeah. We're going to be using RoleCatcher's career and interview guides.
to help you guys get ready for those interviews.
Look at that extra edge that you need to really stand out.
So we're going to look at some sample questions and how to really nail your answers.
So first we want to start off with, what exactly does a packaging and filling machine operator do?
Right. It's got to be more than just pressing buttons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's really essential in that whole food production process.
Hmm.
They're making sure that the product is packaged, right, in those jars,
Yeah.
cartons, all those different types of containers.
Right.
It requires a lot of technical skill and a super keen eye for detail.
Okay, so let's jump into some of those interview questions then from RoleCatcher. What are they going to be asking?
Well, a very common one is describe your experience working with various types of packaging and filling machines.
Okay, so what are they looking for when they ask that one?
So it's not just about listing off all the machines you've ever worked with. They're really trying to figure out how adaptable you are, the
Wow.
breadth of your experience. Can you handle all those different types of equipment?
Right.
And do you really understand that whole packaging process from start to finish?
Okay, so how do I show them that then? Should I list off every single machine I've ever used?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
Try to focus more on showcasing the range that you've worked with.
Okay.
Talk about a few different machines, like a jar filler or a carton sealer, even a labeling machine,
Oh, I see.
and highlight what was different about each one.
Uh-huh.
Did you have to learn a brand new system really quickly, or were
Right.
there any complex problems that you had to troubleshoot on one of those specific machines?
Oh, that makes sense.
Sharing those experiences really shows them how adaptable you are,
Uh-huh.
really good at problem solving.
So going off of problem solving, how about the question? How do you ensure that the packaging and filling machines are operating at peak efficiency?
That's a good one.
What are they really looking for with that one?
So with that one, they're really looking for somebody with a proactive mindset,
Mhm.
someone who sees those problems coming and stops them before they even start,
Okay,
because they know that downtime means losing production,
that's true.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
How do you show them that you're thinking ahead?
so think of it as like a two-part strategy.
Right.
First, you want to highlight, you know, how diligent you are about those maintenance schedules and procedures,
Mhm.
talking about how you regularly inspect the machines, looking for anything that might be wearing down or any little thing that seems off.
So it's not just about, following the rule book, right? They want to see if you can think on your feet.
Exactly. So this is where you share a time when you notice that efficiency was dropping,
Mhm.
or maybe there was a tiny issue and you went ahead and investigated it,
Okay.
fix it before it became this big, huge problem.
Right.
Did you maybe adjust a setting or replace a part that was getting worn down or alert the maintenance team early on?
Oh, yeah. Those kinds of actions really speak volumes about how much initiative you take.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be so helpful,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Absolutely.
Because their platform can actually give you personalized feedback on your answers
That's awesome.
and even suggest ways to make them stronger and more, tailored to the job.
Yeah. It's like having your own personal interview coach.
Exactly.
So let's look at another question that sometimes people struggle with. Describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a packaging or filling machine. This is all about storytelling.
Okay, so you can't just say that you fix problems, right? You've got to paint a picture.
Precisely. Choose a good example that highlights your problem-solving skills.
Mm-hmm.
Describe the problem itself, what machine you were using, and what was at risk if you didn't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to walk them through the process.
Okay.
How'd you figure out what was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What steps did you take to fix it? And then what happened?
Right. So it's not just about those technical skills, but also showing how well you communicate. Exactly.
And explain things clearly.
That's a really good point.
And RoleCatcher's AI, I think that comes into play here too, because they have that video analysis feature.
Oh, yeah.
And that assesses your delivery, your tone, even your body language.
Absolutely.
Give you tips on how to improve.
It's super helpful.
So how about this one? How do you ensure that the packaging and filling machines are set up correctly for each production run?
Oh,
That
yeah.
one's got to be all about the details.
Oh, yeah. Attention to detail is key here.
Mhm.
They're really trying to gauge how well you understand consistency and accuracy,
Mhm.
because even one little setting that's wrong could mess up a whole batch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They want to know that you take this very seriously.
So how do you show them that you're really paying attention?
So you want to start by emphasizing how dedicated you are to following those setup procedures.
Okay.
Talk about double-checking those settings, calibrating the equipment,
Yeah.
and doing test runs before you start full production.
So like a little trial run.
Exactly.
Okay.
And mention, if you use any checklists or visual aids to make sure that absolutely nothing is missed.
That makes sense.
And a real-world example could really bring this to life.
Okay. What kind of example?
Like maybe you caught a mistake in the setup instructions one time,
Oh.
which stopped a really costly mistake from happening.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe you have the system for labeling and organizing all the parts to make sure everything's in its right place.
Right.
These little details really show that you're committed to getting it right every single time.
And RoleCatcher can actually help you tailor your answer here too,
Yeah, how about that?
because their AI gives you insights into industry trends and, best practices.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So you stand out as a really informed candidate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How about this question? How do you ensure that the quality of the filled and packaged products meets the required standards?
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, you got to know the products are good.
Absolutely.
So what are they trying to get at with this one?
Yeah. So this one's all about showing them how committed you are to quality
Mm.
and that you understand how important it is in food production.
Yeah, people are trusting that those products are safe.
Exactly. And your answer should really convey that quality is built into every single step of your process.
Okay.
Talk about your approach to quality control throughout that entire production run. So you're doing regular visual inspections, you're using measuring tools to check those fill levels and package weights. What about random sampling to make sure everything is consistent?
I see.
Be specific, give real examples of what you actually do.
Yeah.
And don't forget to use RoleCatcher's AI to really polish that answer.
Right.
Their insights into industry standards and practices, for different products will make your response so much better.
All right, next one is, how do you ensure that the packaging and filling machines are operated safely?
Okay.
Safety is obviously super important.
Oh, for sure. Safe is non-negotiable, in any manufacturing environment.
Yeah.
So with this one, they're really assessing how committed you are to maintaining a safe workplace for yourself and for everybody around you.
So how do I show them I'm serious about safety?
So you want to start by really emphasizing that you follow those safety protocols and procedures. Mention any specific safety training you've had, like lockout, tagout procedures, or how to handle hazardous materials. But you don't want to stop at just saying the rules.
Right, you got to show that you're actually doing them.
Exactly. Share an example of a time when you saw a potential hazard and fixed it.
Okay.
Or maybe how you're proactive about teaching new team members about safe operating practices.
I see.
Things like that.
So going back to RoleCatcher again, their AI can help tailor your response here
I bet it can.
because they can give you those insights into the company's specific guidelines
Yeah.
and industry best practices.
That makes sense.
Okay, how about describe a time when you had to work under pressure to meet production deadlines?
Okay.
This one seems like it's about handling stress.
Oh, absolutely. This one really digs into your ability to handle that stress. Prioritize all those tasks and deliver even when things are crazy.
So being able to stay calm and focused even when it's hectic.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to know that you can handle a tough situation.
Okay, so what kind of story should I tell here?
Choose one where the stakes were really high, like maybe a really important piece of equipment broke down right before a deadline,
Oh, no.
or there was this huge unexpected surge in demand.
Okay.
Describe the problem itself, the pressure that you were feeling, and what you did to overcome that challenge. And don't forget to highlight the good outcome.
Right, like did you meet the deadline?
Exactly. Did you exceed expectations or learn something really valuable from that whole experience? Those details will make your story stand out
Okay.
and show that you're resilient.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help you out here too
How so?
with their video analysis feature
Oh,
because it helps you assess how you're coming across,
yeah.
making sure that you're projecting confidence even when you're talking about something stressful.
That's awesome.
So that covers a lot of important questions.
Yeah, we went over a lot.
But we're not done yet. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore even more questions.
Right. We got more coming up.
And give you some insights into building a really successful career as a packaging and filling machine operator.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive.
All right, so more of those interview questions.
Yeah, let's get right back into it.
We'll do it.
So let's look at one that focuses on a really important part of food production. how do you ensure that the packaging and filling machines are cleaned and sanitized properly between production runs?
Okay, yeah, got to keep things clean.
Oh, absolutely. This one's about more than just knowing how the machines work. The interviewer is also trying to see if you understand those food safety regulations.
Right.
And that you're really committed to keeping things hygienic.
Absolutely. We mean, consumers are trusting that the products are safe to eat.
Exactly. You know, maintaining cleanliness is super important.
Yeah.
So when you answer this one, you really want to highlight how careful you are about those cleaning and sanitation protocols.
Okay.
Don't just say that you clean the machines.
Right.
Be specific, you know?
Okay, so walk them through that whole process.
Exactly, like detail every single step. The pre-cleaning, using the right sanitizing solutions, rinsing everything and letting it dry properly, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
And this is also a good time to mention any relevant certifications or training that you have, like a food safety handling course, because that shows that you understand those hygiene standards and regulations.
It's not just about following the rules, it's about knowing why they're there.
Precisely.
All right, let's move on to our last sample question then. How do you handle machine malfunctions during a production run?
Okay.
Got to be ready for when things break down.
Oh yeah, this one tests your ability to think on your feet and solve problems under pressure.
So, got to be able to diagnose that problem, take steps to fix it, and keep everybody informed.
Absolutely.
Along the way.
Yeah, so structure is key here.
Okay.
Start by explaining how you would figure out what's going on, what kind of malfunction is it, what might have caused it, and how is it affecting production right now.
Okay, then what?
Then you're going to walk them through your troubleshooting process.
Okay.
Do you start with the basics like checking the power supply and the connections? Do you look in the machine's manual or call tech support?
Okay.
Do you have a system for keeping track of problems and escalating them if you need to?
Yeah.
You know, all those things.
To being organized about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the whole time you want to show that you stay calm, make decisions quickly, and put safety first.
Right.
Always.
And real-world examples are good here, too?
Right? Oh, absolutely. Have you ever had to get creative to find a temporary fix while you waited for parts? Or maybe you put a new procedure in place to stop the same thing from happening again?
Oh, yeah.
Sharing those kinds of experiences shows that you're proactive about solving problems and that you learn from your mistakes.
That makes sense. So now let's talk about the bigger picture. Yeah, the career path for a packaging and filling machine operator.
Okay, so RoleCatcher's career guide actually outlines those typical stages, starting with entry level, then going up to junior intermediate, and then finally senior operator.
It's interesting to see how your responsibilities change as you move up.
Yeah.
So like entry-level operators, they're usually working under supervision, right? Focusing on learning those basic machine operations.
Exactly. And as you gain more experience, you move into those junior and intermediate roles. And you take on more responsibility.
Okay, what kind of responsibilities?
Well, you might start training new operators, you might optimize the machine settings, you might even help improve the whole process.
I see.
And the guide has some really cool real-world examples.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was one intermediate operator who talked about how they took it upon themselves to improve the training procedures for new hires.
Wow.
Which actually made training a lot faster and improved the overall efficiency.
That's awesome.
It's a great example of how being proactive and always wanting to learn more can really boost your career.
Yeah, I like that. And RoleCatcher also has some good advice for getting that first job in the field.
Yeah, what's that?
They recommend looking for internships or entry-level jobs at food manufacturing companies to get that hands-on experience.
Yeah, getting your foot in the door.
Right, and volunteering or shadowing experienced operators are good options too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And building connections in the industry can lead to some really cool opportunities.
Absolutely. And remember what we talked about earlier with those industry trends?
Oh, yeah.
Staying up to date on things like sustainable packaging, plant-based products, and automation. That makes you a more informed candidate. And it shows that you're really interested in the industry.
Right.
And that you're committed to staying ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So now let's shift gears a little and talk about something that can really help you prepare for your interview and guide your career.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI.
Yeah, so we've talked about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you create a great resume and practice your interview answers.
Right, but how can you use that tech to keep growing your career even after you've got the job?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's Career Compass comes in.
Oh.
Think of it like your own personal career roadmap.
Oh, I like that.
It looks at your skills, your experience, what you want to do, and then it suggests potential career paths. It identifies skills that you might need to learn.
Yeah, wow.
And it even recommends courses or certifications.
So it basically takes the guesswork out of planning your future.
Exactly. It can be really overwhelming trying to figure all that out on your own.
Right.
And the best part is that it's constantly updating based on, what's happening in the industry and the job market.
So you're always in the loop.
Yeah, you always know what skills are in demand
Right.
and how to position yourself for those really exciting opportunities.
That's awesome. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's bring it back to you guys.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot about what a packaging and filling machine operator does.
Yeah.
We looked at those common interview questions.
Absolutely.
And you've discovered how RoleCatcher can give you that advantage.
That edge.
But here's one final thought for you to consider as you start your career journey.
Okay.
This whole deep dive was about interview prep.
Right.
But how can you really shape your own career path?
Yeah.
Beyond just getting that job?
That's a good question.
What skills are going to be super valuable as technology and, consumer demands change? What can you do right now to become the kind of packaging and filling machine operator that companies are really looking for?
Those are the questions that make the difference between just having a job and having a career that you really love.
Absolutely. So explore RoleCatcher's resources, embrace that growth mindset, and get ready to rock that interview.
Yeah. Good luck out there.
We know you're going to do great.